And what was found in the car, before the shocking part, he fled the scene. In the car, 4 bottles of tequila were found. Traces of cocaine were found. Edibles, which has weed. There's even a label that is warning not to be consumed by a person who's under the age of 18.
Welcome to another episode of Beyond the Headlines. You know, I get very excited to actually have an opportunity to be able to actually sit down with one of the coolest ladies in the country. Hi? Her name is Ntombi. She's our co-host on Beyond the Headlines. And we're here to just unpack issues that have been happening, current affairs issues that have been happening for over the past months. And those issues have not really found enough expression, although they've made headlines. Sometimes issues that you see on television and that you hear on radio and also that you read on newspapers, they become fleeting. And so we're here to actually make sure that you get full insight with regards to these particular issues. And in doing that, before we even continue, I think it would be befitting that we actually thank you. Thank you for taking the time to watch this podcast. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for just making that click of saying that, you know what, we're a family. And we're a family where we need to really look at issues that affects me and you. Because this particular segment is also about marginalized individuals and the issues that we're actually facing in the country. But without further ado, I've got my lady.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you? I hope you are good. Thank you for having me again. It's good to be here.
Ntombi, I regular feature pela apa. DT. Me and you have just formed this particular pact that we are going to be able to actually look at issues and unpack issues.
Yes.
And in unpacking those issues, it is fundamental that we actually start with one issue.
Yes.
The food-borne illnesses that are actually happening in this country.
Yeah.
It's quite alarming, isn't it?
It's very alarming. It's very alarming.
And so far, you know, throughout the country, there's 890 cases of those food-borne illnesses that have been reported.
Yeah.
And, you know, if you look at those that are affected and the unfortunate deaths that have happened that involves children, it's a matter of concern.
Yeah.
And you know, there is just something that is alarming about the whole thing. The fact that it has actually put into the spotlight the issues of spaza shops, the issues of food that is actually sold in our schools. So, what is your thinking with regards to that?
Yeah, you're opening a can of worms, eh? You're opening a can of worms when you're talking about this thing. This thing is actually like, right now we have seen the surge right now from September and current, but this thing has been happening. So when they look at the stats that are available, it could be more, but they're saying like across the country it's more than 800 cases reported. It could be more, but these are the cases that they've captured. I mean, it's very concerning. And most of the vulnerable people, especially the children who are innocent, are the ones who are dying, especially the ages of 6 and 10. In most cases, you find those are the kids who are taking money like from their mothers or their fathers, running to the nearest puzzle shop. It is also highlighting as South Africa, like the government, NGOs, as people, we need to rethink this whole thing. Because we can't just have shops mushrooming around, just like that, like ungoverned.
Yes.
Because right now, had they been governed, we would know what is inside those snacks. I mean, what is happening? What we're seeing right now? In KZN, we saw a report where parents opened like a packet of snacks and they found like tablets. I mean, what are our children consuming? What are they taking? What are they taking?
I can imagine.
Yeah, and it's a good thing right now. Which finally, even the president has broken his silence on this. Goti, like, he's taking a stand as the leader, as the number one citizen. Most people were urging him to take a stand, like, from long time ago. You find, like, parties, political parties, you find, like, civil society organizations were calling Goti, like, look into this pizza shop thing, or else it's gonna blow. And right now it has blown. So if we dissect the stats, Goti, like 23 children here in Gauteng alone have died because of these snacks. Goti, like they're saying it's poison. It has been proven. Like they went and took the test, the results came out showing Goti, like there was poison. They're connecting it to pesticides. How are these poison? How is this poison landing into these pizza shops? That is the big question.
Let's look at the statistics a bit.
Yeah.
So let's look at Gauteng. Gauteng, there was reported cases of 441
Yes.
of food poisoning,
Yes.
and 23 people in Gauteng have died as a result of that.
Yes.
The majority of them were children that were aged between 6 and 9.
Yes.
And you know, when you realize this, and when this happens,
Yeah.
it makes you think, because you had indicated as well that the president had indicated that there's 500 million that is available for them to be able to actually assist
Yes.
with regards to this crisis. And is 500 million enough? Let's talk to Free State. Free State, there's dozens of learners
Yeah.
that have been treated for suspected food poisoning.
Yes.
Let's go to KZN. 7 children were hospitalized. You know, and the Force, that chemical that you're actually referring to,
Yes. Yes.
is the one that is available,
Easily available.
throughout the country. And this is actually happening.
Yeah.
And it's happening in our own townships. So Force, which is a chemical that is actually used,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
It's available throughout the country, the townships and Ntombi. And the fact that this deadly chemical is available and it's actually being used and it's found into food,
Yeah.
it's very concerning.
Yeah.
So, you know, the 500 million that the president is saying that is available in terms of being able to develop and uplift spaza shops.
Yeah.
Most of the people that own spaza shops are mostly foreigners.
Yes.
So it actually talks to the issue of regulation as well.
Yes.
Because the issue of regulation talks into issues of being able to actually regulate these particular shops. That's the first one.
Yes.
But there's an issue that was raised as well, that there's not enough inspectorates in this country for them to be able to go to each and every township, to each and every spaza shop,
Yeah.
and be able to actually inspect.
Yeah.
You know, the things that are going on social media in terms of how meat is done, by the way.
Shocking.
What type of meat is being put in there, and when you go and buy, it actually says something. So let's talk about the regulation itself. Do you think that the 500 million is enough? Do you think that with regards to government, don't you think that government needs to actually capacitate its inspectorate when it's embarking on these particular campaigns? And what is your feeling about it?
First of all, even the 21 days I don't think it is going to be enough. If we're looking at, first of all, government already revealed that they don't have enough inspectors to go around shops and check and regulate. So the 21 days, I think it's more of a reactionary instead of action. We should have planned ahead with this thing. We've been seeing this problem. This is not new. But the 21 days, I don't know what to like. People deadline, they'll try to meet it in every way that they want. But I don't think it's enough, first of all. And these inspectors, they are not trained. They still need, there's a huge gap. Which is like more people need to be trained so that they can know what if they go into the shop, this is what the shop is supposed to have, and like this is how they supposed to, it's supposed to look hygiene wise. You talk about the issue of the divorce. You saw how dirty that place is.
Sure.
whatever those chemicals that they were using and whatever thing they were using for packaging that virus. It's fortunate with those guys were arrested, but what is the charge? And like, they are likely to get a bail and they'll come back and manufacture more. It also brings this thing where it's like these manufacturers who are manufacturing all this, in the meantime, while they are investigating right now, I think it would be wise for them to be shut down for now until they meet all the requirements. Then they register this thing, they can trade if they are really properly registered and everyone has checked, like they are complying, their food is up to standard. I mean, last week in Val, there was a place that was found where they found like but the employees, 7 people were arrested. The employees, they were removing the sell by date, and that was a tin fish. Tin stuff is so dangerous. First of all, if it is rotten, I mean, it needs to be discarded immediately. But our people are eating that. So I don't know about all of this that is happening. It's still new developments. Maybe let's wait and see. But in the meantime, our children, the vulnerable people of them all, are suffering.
But then Ntombi, let's talk about our communities, right?
Yeah.
We know that it's a struggle nowadays for people to actually make a living.
Yes.
And it is a struggle just for you to actually have a taxi fare to go and buy groceries.
Yes.
And you find that these plaza shops some of them are in semi-rural areas, and some of them are in rural areas.
Yeah.
And there's most of those people that are actually operating in there are foreigners.
Yes.
In those plaza shops. So umagogo that is getting a grant,
Yes.
would have to travel from their destination to go and buy,
Yeah.
and they don't have money for that. What do? They go to the very same plaza shop. That's the first thing.
Yes.
Then the second thing is, besides the issue of being uplifted and the president saying that there is 500 million that is available, the sense of community. Can we just be honest? In this country, we've lost what we call Ubuntu.
Yes.
Where the reason why perhaps maybe these plaza shops are thriving, the way they are thriving and selling,
Yes.
and you know, going their way in terms of being able to not even care. They've got a system that they've introduced amongst themselves,
Yes,
where
yes.
they buy in bulk and they do things in bulk.
Yes.
And therefore, when it comes to the end user, that means whatever that you are buying from that plaza shop, it becomes cheaper.
Yes.
Thina mina nguSindi and nguNtombi, we would never club together and have money and say, let's go and buy in bulk,
Yeah.
so that we can all be able to do what? To assist one another. Kumas plaza shop. We always work in silos. And when we work in silos, that means that the production or whatever that we are going to be selling to someone, it's going to be expensive, simply because you are not buying in bulk. And that type of thinking and the approach that is there, you know, on foreigners in terms of how they approach business, how they do business, and that's the reason why I'm saying that the 500 million is not enough.
Yeah.
Simply because if we could be able to actually adopt a particular Ubuntu,
Yeah.
and come together as a society and say, besides us taking our placards and saying we don't want plaza shops,
Yeah.
we don't want 1, 2, 3, and 4, whatever it is, and foreign illegal foreigners must go and whatever it is. But there's a lesson that we need to learn from there.
Indeed.
And a lesson that we need to learn from there is that we need to be able to be together
Yes.
and hold each other's hands,
Yes.
and be able to run businesses that are going to be able to develop communities.
Yeah.
And that is one lesson that I've actually learned from this thing in terms of how I'm analyzing it and I'm picking it up.
Yeah.
Because for us to be able to actually get to the point where we are right now, there's a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, there is a problem. It's so unfortunate because you raised the issue of Ubuntu. I don't think we have it. Long time ago, there would even be people when you don't have salt, you go next door, you get salt. Nowadays, like when you think of going to next door, you'll trend. It's a trend, mama's a trend. So, yeah, if our people can learn, there's a lot that we can learn. Our people can learn from these people, how they operate, like how they collect each other, they work as a society, like you're saying with the clubbing. That's why their products, they tend to be more affordable. And yeah, our people, like when you find South African spices, like you'll find one maybe there in Katlehong, then he's surrounded by like his competitors, which is these people who are already together. Now our people are working in silos, which is unfortunate. So I encourage our people to really learn from these people. Like, don't just kick them out of the system. There's a lot that we can learn from these people. We can work together. I don't know how are they gonna make it possible, but like we can draw some lessons from these people. And yeah, I mean, they even able one thing I've noticed, they're able you spoke about a gogo. You find a gogo like she's waiting to earn her money, like pension money. But when they go to these particular shops, this spaza shops, these people will give them food. They know it's month end, they're gonna come back and they're gonna settle the bill. Versus like some of the South African shops who say like, if you don't have the money, forget about coming here. You're not gonna get bread. And at the end of the day, most of the gogos are the ones who are taking care of household.
And they send children to go and buy food.
Yeah.
You know, and that's another very beautiful point that you've just mentioned. The issue that they do grant credit.
Yeah.
For people to be able to say, you know what, Ntombi, life is life.
Yeah.
And things have become very hard. And therefore people along the lines, you know, in the middle of the month, you find that you've run out of certain food items.
Yes.
You don't have money. Where do you go to? You've got two options. One is abomashonisa, the loan sharks,
which
right?
is another, yes.
The second one would be you going and seeking credit, and you are granted. And I think there's a lot more that we actually need to learn and that we need to unpack on this issue. But for the interest of time, I think we as a country, if you also look at another statistics also in Limpopo, 59 learners, right?
Yeah.
In Guyana, where they were taken to hospital.
Yes.
Right. In Mpumalanga, there's been multiple incidences that have happened.
Yeah.
The recent cases.
Yes.
So this thing is throughout the country.
Yeah.
You know, and for me, when I'm really looking at it, I'm thinking that, you know what, there has to be some proactive measures that were taking place. I know that the president has articulated certain measures that are there that are going to be implemented.
Yeah.
But there's a deeper issue, and it's a societal issue. And as South Africans would like to sugarcoat.
Yeah. Yeah.
Without really looking at the
foundation.
That foundation, that element that is important for us to be able to actually thrive.
Yeah.
But you know, that actually leads us to another issue, where you, besides the issue of us not really working together and stuff, the issue of the miners.
That's another thing.
In the Stilfontein area. So, food supplies, water was cut off, and some of these miners, illegal miners, are part of the community in Stilfontein.
Yes.
You know, somebody was describing Stilfontein yesterday when we were having that discussion.
Yeah.
And he was saying that the way that place is so impoverished, that there's not even places for entertainment, there's not even places for any recreational activity to take place. There is so much poverty.
Yeah.
And the only way that people can be able to survive is being able to go down to those disused mines.
Yeah.
To be able to actually perhaps maybe be part of this illegal trading. And government has come down and clamped down on it.
Yeah.
And we are going to be playing also the snippet of what the minister had said.
Yeah.
I wanted to actually go to what Minister Ntombi had said.
Yeah.
From the president.
The smoking out.
The smoking out.
Yeah.
What is your view with regards to that first?
Hey, for the first time, South Africa, we must take a stand. Like this thing of being too nice, too kind, we have become a playground. This is not a playground. We must. What I saw during that media briefing during the week last week, they're taking another stand, which is also being supported by most of the citizens.
Sure.
The government must not just sit there and watch and hope for the best. They must take a stand. These people, first of all, what they're doing is illegal. They are called illegal miners or zamazamas. We can't support. Yes, we understand there's poverty, there's everything, everyone faces challenges, but we cannot support that thing. What you can come all the way from Lesotho or come from Soweto or Thokoza and go and steal. That is stealing. Going underneath there, those mines are not in use for a reason. But when they are busy risking right now, they have to take more resources have to be directed to them right now because most of them are dehydrated. There are reports that some of them are dead. How are they going to retrieve these people? You see, they're taking the South African, that's why I don't blame the government. I don't blame the minister saying they're going to smoke them out. Because right now, we have to take the tax money now to go and rescue some of these people who are stuck there. Some of them are malnourished already. They're scared of coming out. They need to come out and they'll receive medical attention like we've been seeing in the past few days. Whoever those people that were resurfacing, even yesterday, 3 more people resurfaced. Yeah, they received medical attention, then they were processed. They have to face the music, they have to go to court. Because at the end of the day, they're stealing. We understand they're unemployed. There's even one miner who spoke on anonymity.
Sure.
He says it's anonymity.
Sure.
He says it's been there since September. It's been three months right now. He says the only reason he came out is because food supplies, water, and the necessities such as cigarettes, they don't have access at all right now.
Sure.
That's the only reason he decided to resurface. Yeah, now he was fine underneath there because they call themselves they are a family. And they also contribute some money. There's people who collect money. This is a $1 million industry. So there's people who they contribute money to for protection. So you can see we cannot be pushing supporting this thing they continue stealing. It is stealing at the end of the day. Yeah.
Look, South Africans are actually divided by the minister's comment.
Yeah.
Because there was one father that came out that has got 2 sons that are there.
Yeah.
That actually expressed that the minister does not understand that the people that are down there, they're human beings.
Yeah.
And he also said that these people have families and therefore, they need to be able to support their families. It's a catch-22 situation, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because at some point government has to do something with regards to this issue, because if we let it happen, it's going to be the issue of zamazamas. It's not something that has been happening overnight. It's something of illegal mining.
Yes.
It's been happening for quite some time.
Yeah.
And it's only now that really, like you are seeing, really serious efforts. They have been there.
Yeah.
But right now, the issue of Stilfontein actually brought this matter to the fore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where you are realizing how deep this issue is.
Yeah.
And for you realize that it's not only people from the outside now.
Even South Africans
are busy in this particular illegal mining.
Yes.
But it actually talks about the poverty that exists in this country.
Yeah.
And if you look at the employment statistics right now, they're alarming.
Shocking. True.
So would you really blame people in Ntombi? I know you had indicated that, it's crime. Yes, it is.
Yeah.
But when you don't have, what do you do?
Yeah. I guess most of them, they don't seem to have a choice. This is what they know. And it's not like they're going out there to rob someone, because there's people who are criminals. They'll go to your house and they'll kill your family to get money. With these people, they simply saying, instead of us going there and committing crime, like heinous crimes, like murdering people, shooting people, they're going there to get the money. There, I understand. I feel your point. Although it is still stealing, but the poverty in South Africa, like we already sitting at over 33% unemployment. It's very alarming. And this thing, it also brings in this thing of skills training.
Sure.
This thing of artisan. Had they formalized, or South Africa started from then when this problem was starting, because this thing of like you're saying, it did not just start overnight. It's been happening, this thing of illegal miners. Had they seen some of these people are skilled, I mean, for them to go to an unused mine and they still extract whatever minerals, and those minerals, they end up in the same table. They end up on the same table as the one that is legally extracted. And like there's money. Clearly they know something that we don't know. That's why I'm saying this thing of artisanal skill, it must be also, like, it is being highlighted a lot with this problem. But already these people have skill. How about they train people and they formalize this thing? Because if it can be formalized, there won't be a need for them to be arrested. If it's formalized, even them, they will be like, oh, okay, let's make sure not other people just come here and steal. They must also be formalized. And like right now, everyone is just doing as they like. And there's kingpins. Like people, your politicians,
That's where I actually wanted to actually go to. Because there is a mafia. Cabal that is actually happening. There's a big network. There's money to be made out of this thing. And you're right with regards to, because it's been funded.
It's funded. And these ones that are being arrested right now, I think they're just foot soldiers. The bigger people, who's giving them, who's arming them, first of all these illegal firearms, who's arming them, who's giving them the equipment to extract all these minerals, like copper or whatever, like all the minerals, who's arming them, and who's making sure they go and clean, because after extracting that copper or whatever mineral that they get, they go to City Deep or any other place where they wash. Meaning these people are being, like, they are transporting this thing by road. Right now the railway network is another issue for another day. We all know. They're using the roads. Our police, where are our police, the law enforcement? Why are they not checking what is being transported in those trucks? It's a big network. Other people are not willing to talk. Who's buying this thing out of South Africa? Because they take it out of the country. They're taking it out of the country. It ends up in China and other countries. We all know that. Who are those people? Yes, we are concentrating on these foot soldiers, but the bigger fish, the kingpins, who are they?
So I think what is important here is that that's what actually goes back to the discussion that we actually had, that unfortunately South Africa has got very deep underlying issues, very systematic challenges that have been happening over time. And I think these issues that are coming to the fore, the one that we just spoke about with regards to the food-borne illnesses, and the issue that we're talking about now with regards to illegal mining, it actually shows the state of the country where it is right now. And it says that something has to be done. And my goodness, I find that with our government, it has become reactive on issues. Look at the looting that happened. Remember the looting
in 2021.
Exactly.
The
it was a reactive approach that was undertaken by government.
True.
And therefore, I think we need to really do something about it. But South Africa and its people, we need to come together. We cannot come together only when we start protesting about something. We need to come in together with progressive mindset and progressive thinking.
True.
And progressive application in terms of where we actually want to go as a country. But most of all, Tina, as a community, to see exactly where we want to take our community. Now let's go to the story of Sean.
Sean Makhael.
Oh my goodness. So the man, what was happening, Ntombi, with the
audacity.
Man? What was happening, Ntombi, with the man? For sure, I think the But the saddest part about this thing is the death of a child.
True. And life was lost.
And
He was found with 4 bottles of Don Julio. I know some people don't know what Don Julio is. It's a tequila.
Oh,
It's,
okay.
yeah,
Okay.
it's
I
tequila.
didn't even know, by the way, what is
It's tequila, and we all know it's what tequila does.
Okay.
Not all of us, but hey, we know whatever. Yeah. So he was found with 4 bottles in his car after the accident. The accident happened around about 7 in the morning.
7 in the morning?
Yeah, 7 in the morning. The mother was transporting her daughter and a neighbor's child, a boy child, to school. It's past 7. Minding their own business, driving on the correct lane, going to school. All of a sudden, this woman, thanks to that other motorist who had a dashboard, who made us to see how big this thing, how it happened. Because right now it was just gonna be like, oh, okay, it's an accident, it's one of those. But this was not a normal accident. This shows that this person was under some sort of an influence. He was driving on an oncoming, and the speed that he was doing, that looks like an 80 zone, but he was doing more than 100. By the way I was looking at him. And what was found in the car, before the shocking part, he fled the scene. In the car, 4 bottles of tequila were found. Traces of cocaine were found. Edibles, which has weed. There's even a label that is warning not to be consumed by a person who's under the age of 18. Mind you, the night before this guy was playing, he played for 51 minutes. He was playing against Richards Bay. His team won. So they were playing in Limpopo. After playing, according to some sources, he decided, okay, so maybe all of them, we don't know, but he drove back to Johannesburg. He arrived this side around about 3 a.m. according to some of the sources who are within the team. So, 3 a.m. you were playing soccer. Next thing you are driving and you are busy drinking. It was bound to happen, to get an accident, to be in trouble. And it's so unfortunate that a life of a 9-year-old child has been lost. And this person did not look remorseful. He fled the scene. Later on, when he was sober, maybe the alcohol had cleared, he was advised to go and hand yourself in at the police station. When you get to the police station, he was still handled with with good gloves. Like he was handled like a VIP. One of the police officers who was there who witnessed this thing, he says this person was consuming KFC and he had access to his phone. But this person was supposedly to be arrested after 3 p.m. when he handed himself in there. So it shows even our police, like how they treat citizens. This one, because he's a soccer player, this one is a thingy. He's out on bail, 20,000 rand bail. This person, even when he was at court, like he had a minor scratch. It's so small compared to the person. These people, the mother is still fighting for her life, like she's still in the hospital. That little boy, his legs were broken. They only apologize after the media pressurized, like how these people have not even issued a statement. The team, he plays for Sekhukhune. After Sekhukhune, after the pressure from media, Sekhukhune issued like a 2-liner press statement saying that they apologize. But this guy, did he say anything? He's still on social media. I don't know who's advising him. So
and he's still going about his own life.
His life, he's gonna enjoy December right now because he's gonna appear only next year on the 4th of February. So he's gonna enjoy December. He's gonna go back and be drinking his Don Julio and taking his drugs allegedly. Allegedly, people, allegedly. His life will go ahead while a life of a little girl has been completely stopped. This mother, her life will never be the same without that child.
Exactly.
Her life will never be the same. Even that little boy.
Yes.
And another thing that I found out, one of the counselors at the school, when they were called to go to the scene, she got to the scene, she assessed the little girl had already been declared dead. When she went back to school, she collapsed and died. The counselor, the woman who's supposed to be offering counseling to children, the children were crying hysterically after learning about this whole thing. The trauma that this guy has brought to the lives of all these children. But it looks like, even in court, he was just there chilling. Like, You were not seeing. He even appeared arrogant from the media. Media were surrounded, like we were by the gallery. Some of us were on the side. He did not look remorseful. Maybe I might be judging him, but he's not apologizing.
But it actually also talks to the issue of the lifestyle, perhaps maybe that we are leading.
Yeah.
Because as a soccer, what do they are they celebrities? I don't know what
they are soccer stars.
What are they called?
They are stars. I'm not sure about stars, but they are stars. They are called soccer stars.
The soccer stars that we find in this country. I think you get to a point where you get some of them that has got this mentality, we've made it. Mm-hmm. And in having this mentality, we've made it, they tend to make reckless decisions.
True.
And in making reckless decisions, this is what actually it leads to. But it also talks about our justice system, like what you're actually alluding to now.
Yeah.
The fact that the guy went willy-nilly, doing everything that he normally does, and not even showing remorse.
Yeah.
Whilst there is a bereavement that actually took place of a child.
True.
There is a mother that was there and experienced all these things. So it actually says a lot about our way of thinking and our way of living as well.
Yeah, true.
I'm hoping that justice will take its course, and I'm hoping even those that football club as well, that it will be able to actually perhaps maybe make its own footballers to be able to account on this thing. Because
True.
we cannot let such things, people get away with such things and think that it's normal.
Yeah.
It also goes back to the story of Abongile. Remember Abongile?
Yes.
The one that was actually battered.
Yeah.
By the boyfriend of the sister.
Yes.
The journey that she went through to where she is right now, with the latest developments that we're going to be reporting on, it actually shows exactly that the justice system, there's something very wrong with our justice system.
Yes.
But by the way, they're saying the justice system, abantu. It's people.
Yes.
So when you deal with people, you're dealing with people, right? So we are not all the same. So we're susceptible to a whole lot of things.
Yeah.
But it actually, for me, with the Abongile case, she had to fight. Remember how bruised she was.
Yeah.
Remember those bottles, her face.
Those scars, like she's scarred for life right now.
The scars that she had. And she had to fight for her perpetrator to find his day in court.
Yeah.
Let's talk about what happened.
Well, okay. Before it also, just like this Sean Mahaile, the perpetrator, the police were handling him like very well. I mean, the Abogile, after going through that trauma, which like she was bleeding all over the place, a little boy, her nephew had to rescue her, and this guy was transported in a police van, taken to the medical facility for a little scratch. After that little boy pushed him away from on top of Abongile. Abongile was deprived, was not helped by another fellow woman who is a police officer, allegedly. Because that woman told her, you are bleeding too much, you might die in the state van, we are not allowed to transport. So she had to go and get money and get people to take her to the hospital. That's a secondary suffering. After suffering in the hands of this abuser, Ulebu, we can mention him because he has already appeared in court. He's originally from Lesotho, but he lives here in South Africa. Yes. This woman had to suffer not only at the hands of this alleged abuser, had to also suffer because the police could not assist her on time. And now the third the justice system, it was at first, before we reported in the media this thing, they were dragging their feet, even the NPA. Even right now, when you ask them, what is the latest, what is the status on Abongile? They're like, oh, please send us a case number. It's like, with them, it's not important. And I'm worried right now, we're going to, we are approaching 16 days of activism. Our women are suffering even before that period, that 10 days or whatever period it is. 24/7, 365 days. Women
days have become very ceremonial.
Yeah,
it's like
just
a ceremonial.
It's like a talk show. They just talk after those days. After those particular days, they go back with their lives, and women are still being killed. Women and children. So Abongile really suffered, and like when initially. When it started, the support was there, but right now, with the reality, we are seeing what's like lesser and lesser people. It's dwindling. What people are just some of them were promising her the world, but right now, because she's facing this thing. So, this coming Tuesday, there's gonna be a sentencing. So she's hoping that this guy will get the sentence that he deserves, which we don't know. But all she's looking for right now is justice. And last week Wednesday, sentencing was supposed to happen last week Wednesday, but he had violated he was in contempt of court. One of the things was he was not supposed to be in touch with Abongile.
Sure.
Somehow he still felt he had audacity to still contact her, call her. So straight from court, the magistrate decided to take him to custody. He's coming back. So he spent the weekend for the first time in custody. So on Tuesday it's sentencing. So we're hoping, at least like with us at this show, we are a family with Abongile. I'm sure you can still remind our viewers, go to your family. That's why we are still there. We still know. We're hoping Abongile is going to get the justice that she deserves. Yeah.
Let's seal off our conversation with the controversy. This is the last one, production manager, last one. Let us seal up our conversation with this issue. I'm actually laughing, but it's actually a serious matter, because from another element of my life, I'm dealing with issues that has got to do with the private security industry. And some few weeks ago, we were very alarmed by a revelation that a certain gentleman from Transnet that has been entrusted with millions or billions of rands to actually safeguard or provide an oversight over the infrastructure of Transnet by having service providers, private security service providers that are rendering services, that is extorting them 5 million each. And he was doing that during meetings such as this. He actually followed up that extortion, asking those service providers for 5 million. In fact, he was not asking, he was demanding the 5 million from those service providers. The entitlement. And this very same gentleman was suspended some time ago because he took some prototype, and with that prototype gave it to another service provider, which we're not going to mention on the show, so that service provider can be able to have a competitive edge over others in terms of the contract that was coming. Some organization that represents employers in the private security industry, in fact the marginalized employers, voiced it out, wrote to Transnet, and took up this matter. The gentleman was suspended. He came back under mysterious conditions, and he was parachuted to actually occupy a position of authority, heading the security directorate of Transnet. And then he extorts companies. And the companies that is extorting, by the way, it's companies where, some of them are small, medium enterprises that can't even barely make profit.
They're still trying to.
And they're still trying to. And this very same gentleman is actually doing that. And there was an initiative from that organization in terms of being able to make Transnet to account. This gentleman supposedly has been suspended, but it's under precautionary suspension. I do not know what is precautionary suspension. Perhaps maybe South Africans will be able to actually let me know or something what it is in terms of our labor laws and stuff and those suspensions. I don't know what it is.
It is loosely used.
But this gentleman has been suspended. But it actually shows the rampant corruption that actually exists in our state-owned entities.
Yeah.
And this is the same state-owned entities that are draining the taxpayers' money.
True.
That the government, I'm glad that the Minister of Finance decided that they're not going to be funding those state entities any longer.
Yeah.
Simply because of the losses that they actually make.
Yeah.
Besides the losses that they're making, there is rampant corruption that is actually happening.
Yeah.
So what is your view when you see this particular issue happening? I know that you actually dealt with that issue as well.
The issue of accountability, like one thing I've noticed, like right now, what you're saying, with this guy was suspended in 2021.
Sure.
Somehow, mysteriously, like no one can explain that he's back, and right now it's like he has been rewarded right now because the position that right now he holds. That's why he felt the audacity, the courage to just go and extort allegedly people to allegedly extort money from these people. 6 companies, I believe.
Yes, 6 companies.
I mean, we are talking about 30 million. Imagine when did this guy start? If we can just look back, how far back he started extorting this money. Perpetrate, like, right now, Transnet told us, they are really concerned about all these allegations and they're taking them very seriously. They're even saying that give us 2 weeks. In 2 weeks' time, we'll come back and give you a feedback to what has happened, what have they found. But it's worrying. It even has to take media or Tapsosa or whatever organization that is whistleblowers. It has to take whistleblowers to go and inform. That means who knows who else is eating with this guy. If he can go and attempt to extort so much money, clearly he's not dealing with this thing alone. Who else is he eating with?
That's the question that I actually asked. I said, this thing, it's not that the gentleman, unfortunately, he's the one that had the courage to go and extort money from these guys. But there's a deeper issue here.
Yeah.
Because the 30 million in totality is very alarming, and for him to be able to even have the girl allegedly, for him to be able to actually do that and go and extort these monies and not even think of the consequences. And I think what hurts the most about this situation is the fact that the ones that were confronted with this situation, when they came forth and spoke about this issue, they were victimized. Right? Their contracts were threatened. The ones that are behind in terms of being able to support these companies, they have been victimized. Their invoices are not being paid. They've been held back. And the ones that are inside Transnet that have voiced out this issue, they've been victimized. So what does it say? It says whistleblowing in this country, it serves no purpose.
Yeah. Sexually, it's like you're applying to die real quick. Because we've been saying, like even the issue of Papita Jaguaron was killed after lifting the lid to go to the Department of Health. Extortion, corruption is like it's their thing. It's their thing. That's how they survive. That's how they thrive. So this thing, it shows that more people, whistleblowers, are not gonna come out and like tell us or report. So meaning that if you are a whistleblower, it's like you're applying to die because they can just put a hit on you and you'll die because you're taking away their food like from their mouth. These corrupt people. And another issue of accountability. Look at us, state capture. How much money was spent? Over $1 billion was spent for this doing estate capture. Right now, who has been convicted?
That's another issue.
We've got people like Gwede Mantashe, we've got people like Nomvula Mukonyane, who were also fingered to be part of all of these corruption shenanigans in all these SOEs. But those people were even rewarded. They are in the top 6, ANC's top 6. That's the biggest. I mean, ANC, we all know it's a big movement. And those people are rewarded. They're still making all the decisions. They've got nice positions.
And Gwede still has to be able to answer with regards to that mining stuff that is
mining.
happening that we're actually talking
The mining
about.
that we're talking about.
He needs to take
He
ownership
still-
with
he
regards
still
to
has
exactly
to.
that. Hey?
And the way his mum with this thing, I've not seen him saying anything or like condemning all these illegal shenanigans. We're seeing what the people are saying, oh yeah, illegal mining. But what is the minister of DMR saying? Is he saying anything? Where is he? He's too quiet for my liking.
On that note, Ntombi, your final parting shot for this particular segment until we do another one.
Yeah.
Yes.
We've got all these questions right now, but I wonder if we wanna ever get solutions with all these issues that are affecting like our people, mostly more marginalized people. The issue of the food poisoning, it's huge. Like more needs to be done. There needs to be more policies. So I wish the government, whoever is in charge, even us as parents, I'm saying parents are quiet. I wish even parents can get up and do lunch boxes for their children instead of giving them money to go and buy all these things that are not healthy. Yeah, and the issue of those minors, it's human rights. I mean, it's a right to live. I think those people should be rescued, but at a cost. Obviously, it will be at a cost. But we must not allow people to be left there to die. I wish more can be done. But they still have to face the music because whatever they're doing, they're stealing.
On that note, we had a very interesting conversation as usual. I'm hoping that you actually enjoyed this particular program because there's a lot more that is to come. There's a lot more that we still need to unravel. There's a lot more that we still need to cover. This show, Beyond the Headlines, is meant to be able to actually inform you of a whole lot of things. It's meant to also educate and bring awareness on a whole lot of things that are happening in this country. But I think the beautiful parting shot that we do have is that, you know what, we're still a community. And so many things that are happening in this country. There's solutions, people. There's in a problem, there's always a solution. I've always been one of those advocates to say that we should not dwell on problems, but we should all be rallying to look for solutions. And there's hope for this country. And that is our parting shot. Please do not forget to subscribe. Do not forget to like. Do not forget to send your neighbor, another neighbor, another neighbor, another neighbor, because we are a community here. And being a community, it means that we need to be able to, we are urging you as well. What is most important is that we have adverts in our videos that are coming up, and then those adverts are the ones that are actually giving us some bread and butter that we put on the table. So we're asking you not to actually skip those adverts when you see them appearing on these particular videos. And we value your support. We value your input. We're going to be seeing you next time. We can't wait. Thank you for joining us.